What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about quitting alcohol and we're going to be talking about AA versus willpower. Which method is better? What are the pros? What are the cons? Which one's got the best chance of success? What are the similarities between the two? And that's exactly what we're going to be covering, right? So if you're on your journey to stopping drinking and you're looking at different methods, you're looking at different ways to stop drinking, and you kind of want to educate yourself on how these methods work and what are some of the flaws and some of the obstacles and so on, this video is for you. Now, I just want to say one thing. I have tried both of these methods many times. And I've been going, before I found a solution to my problem, before creating Sober Clear and doing all of this stuff, I was looking for solutions for a long time. And I tried these a lot of times, right? I've tried the willpower method hundreds of times. I've been to AA meetings. I went for about 100 days. I've been a couple of times when I'd gone back out there and then gone back in. So I've done both of these things. I've got experience doing them. So I just wanted to put that out there before we get into it. And just very quickly, before we get into this video, I want to say that if you actually want to work with me on how to stop drinking without both of these things, without AA and without willpower, you can click the link below. There'll be a 10-minute video that explains my method, and then you'll be able to book a short call with myself to see if it is something that you might want to go ahead with. But for now, I still want to touch on these methods for you guys, so let's just jump straight into it. So the first method that we're going to talk about is Alcoholics Anonymous, right? So Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women that help each other stop drinking, basically. And there's a 12-step system to help people stop drinking, right? So my own mother has been to AA for 20 years. She has not drank for 20 years. 20 years ago, she had a big drinking problem. She had me. And then a few years later, she found AA, and it's been over 20 years now. I can't remember how long exactly it's been. And she got great success. So I'm not here to bash AA, right? If you are a member of AA and you've stopped drinking and you're happy with your life and you're happy with not drinking alcohol, then turn this video off. This video isn't for you, right? This video is more for the people that might have tried AA, they might have tried willpower, nothing's really stuck, they're still trying to figure things out. It's more for that type of person, so I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, like I said, I'm not here to bash AA, but I see flaws in the system because when I tried it, there were certain things that worked for me. And they made me feel as though it was the only way, and it's not. That is not true, but we'll dive deeper into it. So the first good thing about AA that I found when I went is that there is a really good support network. The people that go to the meetings, some of them are pretty cool people and they're pretty nice people. They're supportive people. A lot of these people work in addiction. A lot of these people go on to be therapists and so on. So there are a lot of good people there. And there are people that have not drank for 10, 15, 20 years. And they can be great examples to look up to, especially if in your entire social circle, everybody drinks alcohol. There's nobody that's got a prolonged period of sobriety. You can go there and find good role models, people that you can aspire to be like. And I think that is really, really cool. And when I went, there were a lot of activities going on that were outside of the meetings. There were coffee meetups. There were, I remember I went potholing. So we went into this cave. It was like, you go inside of a mountain and you go into the caving system. And, there were some pretty good memories and there were some pretty good people that I hung out with. But a lot of these people I didn't have a lot in common with because, there were age discrepancies. There were people that were obviously a way worse at drinking than I ever was, so on and so forth, right? So, that's a really good element of it. Now, the next thing that we'll talk about is the 12-step methodology. So the 12-step methodology, it's about admitting that you are powerless, right? That's the very first step. It's saying that you're powerless over alcohol, which I don't believe. And then the next thing that you've got to do is give yourself up to a higher power. So you have to give yourself up to God. So what's the issue with this? Well, the first thing is that you have to admit that there is something wrong with you, right? You need to admit that you are the problem. The drug is not the problem. You have something wrong with you as a person, right? You have a disease. You are an alcoholic. You're powerless, right? So when I first went to AA, I went along with that. I was okay. I was cool. I was like, okay, well, maybe I am. Maybe that's the reason why I can't stop drinking. Maybe that's the reason why I keep making these mistakes. And I looked around me and a lot of the people in the meetings, they had very similar stories to mine. Not identical, but I could see similarities. So I thought, well, if all you people are saying that you are powerless and you had to give yourself up to a higher power, then I'm going to buy into it. I'm going to see what it's all about, right? And then as time went on, I started to realize that this wasn't for me. I did not want to go to these meetings anymore. I just didn't want to do it. And I drank again. I went back out there. And as I've gone on my journey to find a solution to stopping drinking, I started to realize that, well, maybe all the stuff that I learned wasn't actually true. Was I really powerless over alcohol? Was somebody holding a gun to my head and making me drink those drinks? Or was I choosing to drink those drinks? Well, of course I was choosing to drink those drinks. Every single drink that I drank, I chose to drink it. So I started to realize that, well, maybe I wasn't powerless over alcohol. And then the next thing I started to realize is that, well, why did I have to give myself up to God? Why did God have to help me stop drinking? I look back now and I see the two as completely unrelated, right? We've all got spiritual beliefs. We've got, some people don't have them, some people have got them. People believe in higher power. People believe they've got different types of spirituality, whatever. The whole point is that, why is that related to stopping drinking? It doesn't really make sense. Why do you have to give yourself up to God? Well, that's a big hurdle for a lot of people, this religious aspect. A lot of people hear that and they just immediately say, no, that's not me. I'm an atheist. I'm not going that route. It doesn't work for me. And they don't go to the meetings. Or they go to the meetings and they don't do the step work. And what happens when you don't do the step work is that you get pressured. Like, all these people are saying, have you done your step work? What step are you on? Have you got a sponsor? Are you doing this stuff, right? And the step work is, it's a religious program. It's a spiritual program. And what essentially is happening is you almost get guilted into doing it, right? But the whole point of the matter is that if you don't kind of go that higher power route, the AA system isn't really going to work. Now, there are people that do fully buy into this, right? My mother has fully bought into it. She's gone for 20 years. She is okay calling herself an alcoholic. She's okay thinking that she's got a disease, and she's totally okay giving herself up to God. A lot of people aren't happy with that. But then what happens is this next thing, is the guilt, right? So what essentially happens is, if you don't do it, if you don't go to meetings, if you don't go to AA, the members will make you think that you are going to fail. Because you've been told all of this stuff, and because everybody else is believing this stuff that you're powerless, that means that if you don't follow AA and you don't do this, you're doomed. Nonsense. Utter nonsense. This is I don't really want to bash AA, but that is absolute crap. There are plenty of people that stop drinking without AA. More people stop drinking without AA than do stop drinking with AA. Many, many more. I'm not going to go into statistics because there's going to be people arguing and people saying that's wrong, this is wrong. I am 100% sure that more people stop drinking without AA, without a 12-step system, than do. So if they're to make you believe that if you don't do this, then you're going to fail, I ain't buying into it. I'm not buying into it because, well, I've kind of, proven it wrong. I've proven them wrong. And the people that I work with in the Sober Clear program have also proven them wrong. It isn't 100% the only thing that is available to people. Not true. But for some people, it's totally okay. It's totally work. Now, the problem with all of this, right? This is where I'm kind of leading to, is this bit, it's the beliefs. Now, when you go to AA, because you're told you're powerless, right? And because you have to give yourself up to God or a higher power to stop drinking, you still believe that alcohol is something that's difficult to give up. Because if you didn't think it was difficult to give up, you wouldn't have to give yourself up to God. In fact, you'd walk to an AA meeting and then you'd walk out and you'd never need to go back. Because the problem is that everybody that goes to AA has not reframed the way that they view alcohol, even if they've not drank for 20 years, right? Because these people that go to AA, after 20 years of not drinking, are still going to say the same thing, that I'm only one drink away from getting drunk. I'm going to take it one day at a time today. I'm just going to get through today without drinking. After 10, 15, 20 years, I don't want to live my life like that. There's no chance I'm going to live my life like that. The problem is that they still believe that they've given something up. They still believe that alcohol is a genuine pleasure in life, even after not drinking it for 15 years. So they have to continue to give themselves up to God, give themselves up to a higher power, ask for help, right? This is a problem with their belief system. Now, if you ask me, this and this are exactly the same thing. You might never have heard that before. They are exactly the same. The only difference is that you give yourself up to God, right? So you've got a way to kind of will through it by giving yourself up to God, and they've got a support network. But because you have still got the belief that alcohol is something that is genuinely enjoyable, you haven't reframed the way that you view alcohol, there is no difference to this, right? Using willpower. Because essentially all you're doing is using willpower, and then when something gets difficult, instead of using brute willpower, you use willpower plus ask help from God. To me, that's pretty much the same thing, right? So let's talk about the willpower. So the problem with the willpower method is that let's say that you are a very strong-willed person, and you probably are. If you're watching these videos, you probably are already successful. You probably have a career. You might be a university student, got a degree. You might have got families. You might, you're probably quite a strong-willed character. So we believe that if we use this willpower to stop drinking alcohol, somehow it's going to work, right? If we've got a lot of willpower and then we use willpower to stop drinking alcohol, that's going to be effective, right? That's what we believe. Yet for some strange reason, it doesn't work. Well, why exactly is that? Well, it goes back to the belief that alcohol gives you something. The belief that you're actually giving something up. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous belief, right? So the next thing is willpower can be effective. AA can be effective. However, long term, it becomes an issue. So I stopped drinking using the willpower method for about 9 months. So during that 9 months, it was fantastic. I started a personal training business. It was going really well. I had a car, I had a girlfriend, I had a nice place to live. I was living in Oxford and things were going really, really well. But the inevitable thing that happens when you don't reframe the way that you view alcohol is a relapse becomes highly, highly possible. And that happened to me. I was using willpower. One day I went out with my friends. The willpower wasn't there that day or that night. They offered me a drink and I said, yeah, and I drank. And that for me ended up me continuing to drink for the next, I can't remember how long it was exactly, but 7, 8, 9, 10 months, whatever it was. I just kept drinking for all that time. So I had this willpower period of time for like 9 months. Everything was going really well, had one drink, boom. So the problem is long term, willpower alone is pretty ineffective. I'm not saying that it's 100% ineffective. People get results for a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years. But the problem is that it doesn't work a long time. Now, the next problem is that even if you do stop drinking, you become miserable because you still look at alcohol as something that was good, something that provided a genuine benefit in your life. You look at it and you think, damn, I wish I could still drink it. Because you haven't reframed the way that you view alcohol, you see it and you're like, wish I could just have one or two. And then you start to go to bars and restaurants and everybody around you is drinking, and because you still see it in this certain frame of mind, in this certain limelight, right? You look at these people that are drinking and you wish you were like them. You wish you could join in with the fun. So the willpower method, it puts you in a miserable, negative state of mind about stopping drinking. Now, the other thing with the willpower method without AA is that there is no system. There's no step-by-step thing to follow. At least here, there is a 12-step system that people can follow, right? So it can probably be a little bit more effective than using pure willpower. But they're still the same thing. Don't get confused. So you have no system and you have no support network when you're using the willpower method on its own, right? Which is a problem. Now, the real way that you should approach this, right? If both of these things haven't worked for you, is that you need to reframe the way that you view alcohol. You need to do this. You need to see alcohol exactly for what it is, right? And it doesn't matter even if you've got some success with these methods, you still need to go through the process of reframing the way that you view alcohol. And the way that you do that is you read books, you watch YouTube videos, you invest in programs, you invest in coaches. You've got to find a way to reframe the way that you view it, because that is how you stop drinking and that's how you make the process enjoyable and effortless. If you can reframe the way that you view alcohol so it's the same way that you look at an apple, right? Like that's the way I see alcohol now. If you put an apple in front of me and a bottle of whiskey in front of me, I'm looking at them both exactly the same. It's just like, they're just objects. I don't really care. I can take it or leave it. I don't really give a shit either way. Excuse my language, but you get the point. And if you click the link below this video, there'll be a short video, there'll be a 10-minute video where I'll actually show you the process that I take my clients through in the Sober Clear program of how we actually reframe alcohol, right? So I work with people going through that process. I'm not saying that that's the 100% right thing for you. You might just want to watch the YouTube channel for free. You might just want to, get some books or read some blogs and do that kind of stuff. But I take people through a system that helps them to stop drinking. So I'll leave a link below this video for a short 10-minute video. Then you can book a call. And guys, if you click the videos on the screen now, you can learn more about the 4 stages of stopping drinking, as well as 4 surprising truths of giving up drinking. Thanks a lot.